Hey, I'm Dukes on Twitch. If you want to support the channel and greensunzenith.com, you can find my Patreon, merch store, and singles store where you can buy singles through TCG Player or Card Hoarder in the video description. If you want to get in contact, you can also find all that info in the description below for things like donation deck lists or just wanting to reach out. Alright, let's get right into it. Hey team, welcome back to Dukes on Twitch. Back today with Naya Depths. This is a pretty normal list. Thanks, Shipwreck. Playing 61, which I really don't mind in such a tutorable deck. I really like the second prismatic ending, and I don't want to have prismatic ending in the sideboard, so I really like having just the extra, space for that in the main deck. So that's pretty much it. I think the best part about Depths right now is that there's a lot of lists running around that are very similar, with some small things, like I'm a big fan of Tabernacle over Glacial Chasm. Towers seeing a lot more play, if not is just a definite sideboard card. Deafening Silence and the Blast mix is kind of a combo. Just have a nice, nice breakup between different ways to actually attack those decks. No Seeds of Innocence. On my Patreon, you can find a free article about why I don't play Seeds, and I don't think Seeds is needed so much in Maverick as it is in Depths decks. Hey Money Man, 9 months, thank you very much. I hope you're doing well. New job is going fantastic, thank you. Really enjoying it. But yeah, I think against the 8-cast decks, my plan is just to turbo out Merit Lage and then get Tower of the Magistrate online and just try to get in there and not care about my opponent's strategy too much. We do have Tabernacle, we do have the Blast effects, we do have the Force of Vigors, the Collector Oof, the Deafening Silences, so a lot of hate there, but I think my plan against 8-cast isn't to try to slam a Seeds of Innocence, it's to try to disrupt them a small amount while also building towards Dark Depths and then Tower to get through any sort of Thopters or shenanigans like that. So yeah, it should be pretty sweet. Pretty keen to just get playing. Haven't played in a little bit. I was away for work last week down in Sydney, which is cool. So it's gonna be fun. We're playing Naya Depths. Yes, we are. Nice. And we're joining the league. Very cool. Gameplay. Nice. But yeah, it's good to be back. Hope you're all doing well. Yeah, Depths is in a pretty cool spot. I know that Dan Neely, aka D Neely, did pretty well with the deck at a challenge top 8ing, I believe, last night, which is pretty awesome. So very cool to see the deck putting up some nice results, especially with Dan. Like Dan, of course, is going to top 8 with it. Hey Rodriguez, what do you think of Fling in the side? Yeah, Fling's pretty cool. Fling's kind of a nice out to some of the sort of Krakus or Swords to Plowshares decks. But yeah, I do like Fling in the more all-in decks, like Rainbow Depths. I don't mind Fling. Fling over Rite of Consumption is definitely a consideration because of Veil of Summer in some lists, especially those like Bant controls. So yeah, I do like Fling, but I feel like I haven't really needed Fling, if that makes sense. Also, the sideboard is just like, it's tough. It's tough to find room for little one-offs like that. Because you don't really have like a protection spell in the sideboard that you would replace it with. And hey Chris Hat, hope you're doing well. And Carador, Dan is such a beast. He really is. He is a great advocate of the green-white decks in Legacy and has put up some pretty strong results over the past X amount of years. So big shout out to Dan. I don't believe he streams, but you can follow him on Twitter, find some of his thoughts there and his finishes, which is cool. But yeah, interesting to see the, I think it was the Super Qualifier that was on recently that had a lot of Delver in it, which is fair enough. I think that's not really a strong sort of mirror of the format. I think there's a lot of grinders who join that sort of event with the best deck being Delver. But I do still think that Delver is probably if not, yeah, the strongest deck right now. On the play, which is really nice, and Sandra's pretty strong. Turn 1 Reclaimer, off a fetch land, which is cool, which means we can play a fetch turn 2, sack a land to make Reclaimer a 3/4 as early as turn 2, which is pretty awesome. Usually against In the Blind, I try to keep Reclaimer out of play before it's a 3/4. But I think in this case, where we get it online so early, that it's worth not playing around Bolt. So, pretty happy to keep this. Stronger than lands in 4-color. Yeah, it's interesting. I think that like Delver having like a strong clock, permission, removal in both Wasteland and Bolt, which can also just be additional pressure on life turtles, is pretty strong. And I think Delver is a little bit more... what's the word? Forgiving if you make a mistake, especially with the amount of cantrips it has. I think with lands, if you're going to play lands and make a mistake, that mistake's probably going to snowball you into a loss, you know, 6 turns down the track. So I think lands could be stronger with the right pilot, but I think in a format like the Super Qualifier, where you have a lot of players who might not have a good idea of the metagame, definitely an interesting consideration. Yeah, it's sad to see Goyf out of the format. I mean, I haven't seen Goyf in years, probably since Oko, to be fair. Tough. So definitely like a little bit of a inconvenience there with losing out on the Reclaimer by not just playing around like Bolt, but I felt like because we have the double fetch land start, it was worth like making them have the Bolt. But now we have some interesting decisions. We can play around Days, which is pretty cool. We could like Green Suns for Dried Arbor. And then the following turn, we could Green Suns for Reclaimer. Could also just like Green Suns for Reclaimer right now. I don't mind that. There is a world where I could be a little bit patient and see if we could either play around Days or get enough lands in the graveyard for the Reclaimers just to come down as 3/4s, but I feel like making them have double Bolt is pretty nice. What this also does is kind of keep our opponent off deploying a threat, potentially, which means we can start moving towards hopefully drawing one piece of the combo and then knowing which one we have to crop rotate for. Okay. Yeah, it also puts them quite behind, which is nice if they do have a Days. Let's stage, which is pretty nice. I think here I'm happy just to play stage and then hold up crop, but also Green Suns for another Reclaimer. There is also a world where I go towards Sylvan Safekeeper to play around like a main deck Brazen Burrower, but this is a pretty interesting one. Hey Harry, thanks for the follow. Hope you're doing well. I kind of like Reclaimer. Wow, Force. Okay. If I get to untap, it's pretty nice, because then we can crop around Days, but also hold up the combo. Okay. Not playing a land first makes me think they have Expressive Iteration. Or just a Murktide. The scary thing about being a little bit more patient on the Reclaimers as well and waiting for them to be 3/4s to like dodge Bolt is that then your opponent has 6 points of damage in hand. So, you know, that definitely speeds up the clock in a way. Wasteland's pretty nice. They have 2 cards in hand. I think right now is just the check of do you have Force, and if not, we get there. So let's... I could do this in upkeep to play around Force Negation, but we know 1 card in hand is Brainstorm. So we don't know the other card. If it's Force Negation, we get really really hit by main phasing crop here. I could do an upkeep, but then they also get the chance to brainstorm into Force of Will, which I think I'd rather just do it now. Yikes. Tough. Double force, double bolt, double threat. They played an island. Interesting. Maze and Thespian Sage copy Maze. I like going for Dark Depths because then, like, if it resolves, then we have a way to win the game, but also the 2020 is keeping us from not losing the game. Getting Maze and, like, trying to Maze for a bit is just kind of putting us behind, and, like, a Wasteland from them could be pretty crucial as well, which is pretty tough. We will copy and just hope we can hit something relevant here. Crop. Perfect. Dark Depths, land for turn, and we just have to fade Bolt. Is Green Black Depth still good? I do like it, especially with Saga, but otherwise it can be pretty tough. There is a big reason why Green White or Green White and Naya see so much play. Now we're on the standoff. Okay. Now we kind of need another crop. No, I think we actually attack here. Because if we attack, they block with the Insectile Aberration, and then the Murktide swings back for 6. If we don't attack and they have another Murktide, they attack with both. We block 1 Murktide. We take 3, go to 4. We untap, we're kind of in the same situation where they have a Murktide and an Insectile Aberration. We pass back. They then attack with both. We go to 1, they lose a second Murktide. No, they can't because then we can just swing back for lethal unless they find Bolt. This is an interesting spot. Did the thing not... that's why. Legacy, MTG, Naya Depths. I don't think we attack here, but I'd love to see what chat thinks. There we go. Thanks, Graham. What is the white splash for? Swords to Plowshares, Prismatic Ending, Deafening Silence. They're the main ones. There you go. Hey, Strass. Attacking does seem pretty bad. Yeah, I think we are just supposed to play a land and pass. It's pretty late there. Yeah, that's fair. No UFC on tonight? I'm a big UFC fan. Shoutouts to Dustin Portier. If you're watching. If you're watching, Dustin, big fan, big fan. I do give them more time to draw Bolt, but they don't have a great attack to also Bolt. Like, Bolt essentially puts me to 4, but then they don't have a great attack anyway. I don't mind the double Wasteland here, just on their lands, to stop them from being able to, like, double spell. I don't really care about any of their lands right now. There is a world where I keep 1. Okay. Like, we do have Sajiri Step as a nice out here. Tried Arbor. I will play the Arbor. Pass back. Yeah, something like a prismatic ending here. Sajiri step. Crop rotation. Okay. Ending on Arbor. Nice. Attack with... They have to block with Murktide. They can't deal 4 unless they, like, double bolt. But they've already gone through 3 bolts, so... Pretty tough for them. So nice to squeeze that out. And definitely, yeah... I mean, the crop rotation was really nice, but... Always nice to put yourself in that sort of spot. These 4 definitely coming out. I think Dan actually went through sideboarding the other week. So I'm actually going to quickly check out what Dan had to say, because I think we were on the same sort of path. So Dan was asking about boarding. So Dan says, in 3 blasts, 2 endings, 2 endurance, 1 blast zone, 1 chasm. Out 3 library, 3 crop, 1 outlander, 1 Caracas, 1 mox. I do like taking out the Caracas. Caracas really has no effect in this game. I really like the blasts. I really like the endurances. I don't mind a choke on the draw. I don't mind the Moxen, even though they put us down a slant. Being able to play around days and play on curve is really nice. I could see a crop coming out. Dead to Gutshot, that is correct. Bog's great. I still like the 3 depths and 3 stages, but I've seen some people move away from the combo post board and play like more of a mid-range plan. Ramanap's always interesting, but I think it's pretty nice because, especially post board, you just have so many ways to interact with their creatures that you get to take some pressure off, which is my understanding of why I like to kind of keep 1 library in sometimes, because you just run out of cards if you're trading 1 for 1. But I think I'm pretty happy with something like this. There is a world where there's just too many 3 drops here, and like I could go down on like a Knight. But Knight's just so strong, especially if it gets to a 3/4, to a 4/4 and out of bolt range. I could see crop coming out. Tab's always tough because I want to deal with my opponent's threats. I don't want them to actually have any threats. It could be Safekeeper, to be fair. I don't think Safekeeper is my line for beating like Brazen Borrower or Submerge. But it's definitely interesting. Reclaim is strong. I still like Crop, especially with Flagstones. It's a little bit better with like a force effect because you don't go down on the whirl. I'm just going to bring in 2 Endurance is just so strong. It's going to be 1 Knight for 1 Endurance. I think that's a fine move. Endurance having reach is just so good. Endurance is just the best green spell since Reclaimer. Yeah, I think it could be safe as well, but I also like keeping my curve a little bit lower, so I will keep this. Try to bait with the Knight and Ramanap before the Endurance. Yeah, I definitely try to keep the timer at bay. So this is an interesting start. I don't really want to get Wastelanded here, so I kind of just want to go Windswept into basic Forest Reclaimer. This also allows me to draw into like another basic, which then just gets me to 3 mana quite easily. Especially with so many 3 drops in hand, I don't think they have the luxury of like just trying to like slam jewels and just put them in the face of a Wasteland. But I don't mind that strategy at some points. Okay. Anyone know how the Mox Diamond reprint gets reprinted? Yeah, so it was reprinted in a From the Vault, which I believe at the time they thought that was kind of a way to get around the reserve list, but then people complained and then it just wasn't done again. But I'm not too sure what the... Oh, wow. Okay. Taiga. So the Taiga is actually quite nice. I think Taiga here is better than the Savannah. And the Savannah I can just turn into a Flagstones, which is pretty much a non-wastelandable target anyway, so pretty happy with this. Oh, of course, Knight of the Reliquary is also a massive reason why why the deck plays white. Yeah, I would say Knight is probably the biggest, and then probably Swords to Plowshares pretty close. Okay, so they find the Bolt. That's going to be okay. But they just have a double Wasteland hand, which is really interesting. Okay. So definitely get rid of the Savannah. Go and get that value play. Nice. Windswept. Okay. That's pretty nice. That is our basic here. I don't mind just trying to land one of these 3-drops instead of going for Reclaimer. Reclaimer is now a 3/4, which is fantastic. I'm going to do this pre-main phase as well, or pre-attack phase to see if I... Well, I am going to attack with a Reclaimer. Wow, okay. That was unexpected. Opponent also not on double red, so they can't double bolt either of these just yet. Oh, but they have a Submerge. Oh, Surgical. Okay. That's fair. Means they can now bolt the Reclaimer if they want, but probably not the real target you want to hit with Surgical. If I really wanted to there, I could Endurance myself, but that does even... it makes things even worse. I don't really care about losing the Windswept, so... The card disadvantage of Surgical there is pretty strong. Like, I don't really worry about that. Unless my opponent is just trying to fill the bin. That's definitely an interesting thought. Because you Surgical the Windswept Heath there to make the Reclaimer and the Knight boltable, but I don't think you do that there just to save the 2 life, unless you have a red source in hand, surely, or else you might wait a little bit to see if you draw into a red source. So my question is it worth Endurancing here? I don't think it is, because if they want to Murktide, then they're tapping them off the both Wastelands, if I'm correct. 2, 4, 6... Oh, they actually just have nothing, okay. Mox is cool. Mox gets us back up. Mox also does some cool things. I like the Mox because it allows us to play Endurance around Daze, but also hold up 2 mana around Reclaimer. Oh, for Reclaimer, which is pretty cool. So the Mox is essentially just our Taiga here. Play stage. Two, 4. We also have enough just to combo off here, which is kind of cool. Yeah, I think there's a few Delver players who do bring in Surgical just to try to hit Dark Depths as just a way to not care about that, but I think the mid-range plan of this deck is just so strong that it's like we don't really care about losing Dark Depths a lot of the time. But here I'm pretty happy just to pass back. With Endurance up, it seems pretty strong, and also having Reclaim open, Knight open. Cast this. They have a force, sure. I think here I'm happy to get a maze and see if they want to wasteland it, and then we can just replay it with Ramanap. Getting rid of the plains because we have the flagstones. They go to wasteland this now. I think this is fine. I still just want to use the flagstones anyway. We're also so close to just having like the crackback of lethal, which is pretty funny. This is fine. Go and get Savannah. And then I think I'm just going to get another stage here. Hey, Dark Poet Bill, a huge thank you for the sub. Too kind. I could also just get a bog and bog them. I don't mind that. It does keep a Murktide off the field. Then we get to untap, play Ramanap around. Yeah, it's pretty tough for them. Especially being off red mana for so long. Like, we know they have a bolt in hand at least. Or at least 2 bolts. They flip 1 to Delver. Why did I know they had 2 bolts? But yeah, tough spot. Untap, like, bog them, untap. We have 4 mana. We play Ramanap around Days, and then we just replay the Maze. Attack for 11. Nice. Alright. Cool spot. Yeah, weird spot for them, because they had like a Delver start with like double Wasteland, which on paper sounds pretty good against a Depths deck when you have early pressure and disruption, but we just played a mid-range plan where you didn't really need the 2020, which is kind of cool. Didn't really care if you got a Wastelanded either, which is pretty sweet. Yeah, very cool to see you bring Amulet to Legacy and do well with it, which is something that I probably should expect from a player like you. But yeah, I really like it. I like how you tried out that green-white. I'm gonna call it green-white Reclaimer, maybe like 12 months ago, and did really well with it in Legacy as well. Yikes, the no-lander. But yeah, I did like your list a lot. Oh, this is an interesting one. I actually don't mind this hand because it has the combo, it has interaction, it doesn't have green, but we can get green by like copying flagstones, go and get a Savannah if we really need to. But not having green is definitely something that has happened in the past that's tough. But I think I would keep this as a 6 and not keep the Reclaimer. And keep the Knight. But it's definitely an interesting hand. Yeah, I think, yeah, let's keep. Let's see how this goes. Now it's a case of what do we want to do. There's also a world where Reclaimer is just better here, because then if we play like Flagstone's Pass and draw a fetch land, we can just maybe even 2-spell on turn 1 by removing their turn 1 play. Yeah. I kind of like keeping the mana curve lower, but definitely tough. Ever thought about playing Loam? I do like Loam. I do like Loam in the green blacklist as well. But yeah. Scalding Tarn Pass. Could be a number of things. Crop. Okay. I don't want to show you this just yet. It could just be Wasteland Pass. Which I don't like doing in the face of a fetch land, because now my opponent could just get fetch basics if they have basics, but I do like that next turn we get to hopefully play the stage, and maybe even copy a basic so that the stage can't be wastelanded, which would be pretty cool. Aggro Limber blue version. I would like to get back to it. Ponder. Okay. Because I have played it in the past, but Loam is a very unforgiving deck, especially with the mana base, especially in the 4-color builds. Like, if you mix up one of your jewels, it's going to really, really hurt you. But otherwise, I don't mind it. I think that, yeah, I would like to find some more time for Loam. Or even have someone on, like I've had Connor on before and played Loam, where it's really cool to have someone who knows a little bit more about the deck than me, and I can actually learn a lot more as well, instead of just trying to like navigate my way through a league without really knowing how to attack it. Wonder if a Jund version would work. Yeah, it'd be cool to see like a... Especially with that new enchantment is pretty cool. We can fix a green here, which is nice. We can copy the flagstones and then let the actual flagstones go to the bin. Brainstorm, okay. Okay. I'm thinking more towards Sneak. I'm not sure how many basics Sneak plays, but... we'll keep this one. I like just playing out the combo here, because if it is Sneak and they're still trying to find something, then... A, we have the combo up, and B, we also have crop rotation open here, in case they try to like put in a fatty. Jeskai Breacher? I hope so, because they're currently only on 2 mana, so they can't like end-step Hull Breach untap days. Okay. Another Brainstorm, sure. Wow, no land? I'm definitely going for it here. I mean, if they have Swords to Plowshares, that's also just a big piece of knowledge to have. Like, do they have like a Brazen Borrower here? Or a white source for swords? Okay, Snowcovered Plains. Okay. That's fine. There is a world there where I could like crop for Yav to get 2 creatures into play, but I think this is still fine. Teferi. Yep. Okay. They do go up to 8 cards, which is interesting. They missed a land drop. Nice set. Alright. So here we could Green Suns for Arbor, and then next turn have access to multiple mana. I think I like just replaying the Reclaimer. It also means we can attack the Teferi next turn and get it off the board. The crop for Yav line is kind of rough because if the crop gets countered, we lose either the Wasteland, which wasn't tapped for mana, or we tap the mana for Wasteland, but then it doesn't really do anything. I think it is a case of just replaying the Reclaimer and trying to get the Teferi off the board first. But them missing on land drops is also pretty significant. I think a Force here is pretty good for my opponent, seeing they're already on 7 cards. Okay. Hey Matt, welcome. Big congrats for your recent win of the Queensland Modern Masters League. Very, very cool. Okay. I think we can assume Jeskai. But it would be kind of cool if this is just like a blue-white control deck. It's a pretty nice draw. I think I do care about the Teferi enough to attack into it. At least a Hull Breacher can't trade with the Reclaimer. That's pretty nice. There is also a world where I don't attack, play Reclaimer, and then just hold up Sajiri Step, which gives me instant speed protection, which is kind of cool. That plays around like an instant speed Swords or a instant speed Prismatic Ending. Hey, disappointing salad. That sounds like every salad ever. Shout out to meat. I like meat. Thanks for the Prime sub. A huge thank you. Too kind. To be fair, I am moving towards salad, so I do enjoy the... It's actually a tough one. Actually a tough one. I kind of like holding up Reclaimer here, not attacking. I should have actually played Reclaimer main step 1 to then see if I wanted to attack or not. But I guess now we have the issue of like end step Hull Breach. Thankfully not. Terminus. Real old school. I will just get a Flagstones here. Something like a basic into back to basics here would be pretty brutal. Or just Narset. Narset's also pretty good. Yeah, there is a world where the Wasteland's kind of just dead here. Very close to just a concession, just so far behind here. But I want to see more from their deck as well. I assume with the Narset main deck they are playing Days Undoing. Yeah, core to get more life. That's how we do it. Alright, they cast Ponder. Chose to not shuff. Jace. Cool. Okay. Actually, pretty useless with the Narset on board. That was just a case of like that kind of like a tunnel vision of like, oh, Sylvan Library, control, cool, great card. But obviously in this board, pretty dead. Pretty dead. I just want to see what main deck creatures they run. I just want to see like a Snapcaster or a Mentor or a Hull Breacher or something. Okay. And here is Days. Yep. I think just because of the Jace, we'll definitely concede here, but there is definitely a time element as well. Alright. This is a deck where I love the Elemental Blasts. I like the Chokes. I don't like the Moxen. I do like the Swords to some extent. I do like the endings. I can see the Ramanap coming out, the Maze coming out, a Wasteland coming out. I don't mind the endurances. Yeah, I usually see these decks like side into a mentor plan as well, which I just really want to have an answer for. And I also just want to have an instant speedway. I guess Elemental Blast does also answer Hull Breacher, so I could like go down on a Swords. I do like the endurances as just like 3-4 threats as well. Watch for Blood Moon. Yeah, I think there is a world where I want like some number of Force of Vigor in the list. Maybe something like this. 27 lands. Yeah. Endurance. I'm actually gonna go down on a Knight for an endurance. Something like this. The blue-white decks are always going to be pretty tough, but we can put up a fight as much as we can. I don't mind this. Turn 1 acceleration, and then we have Red Blast as well with endurance, which is pretty cool. A lot of the Depths decks, other than like lands, aren't playing too much Boseiju, because you don't really have ways to recur it. Obviously with Loam you do, but it's just like an awkward fit sometimes in these sort of shells. Because you have a lot of ways to put lands into play, but you don't have a lot of ways to put lands into your hand. Okay. Reclaimer. That's actually pretty cool. Hey Colin, very cool to see you. I think I like just getting in the Reclaimer, not attacking, but then just holding up Crop and Blast if I need it. Library's actually pretty nice here. But how do I want to deploy this? I want to hold up the Blast effect. I kind of also want to hold up the Crop, but I can't right now because the Depths doesn't tap for mana. I like Library here because the Elemental Blast hits both Narset and Teferi. This is a tough one as well because like Brainstorm to find like Force or which we can blast, but Brainstorm to put back to like Terminus on top is pretty brutal. Like if I feel like if they're brainstorming in response to the library, they want to answer the library on the stack and don't have something like a Narset or Teferi in play. And that makes me want to hit this brainstorm because it also shuts down the ability for them to put Terminus back on top of the deck. So I think I will actually try to blast this. Nice. Interesting. Maybe they have Hull Breacher? I just want to do that in upkeep? No? We do get the Wasteland then, which is pretty nice. I think Wasteland here is fine. Then we also have Endurance. We also do just have Crop Rotation up with 2 mana anyway to Dark Depths. So the Wasteland here is kind of free. We could keep the Wasteland for like Karakas if we really saw that, but I think being able to take them off a mana so early on in the game is pretty strong. I also get to attack here for free if I want to with the Reclaimer. I think I'm pretty happy just to pass with Endurance open. They're gonna force it. Okay, pitching Snap. Sure. Hopefully, if they try to bounce here, they try to bounce the Reclaimer. Nice. I'm gonna pitch the Plateau. Actually, there's a world where we could just pitch the Dark Depths, just to keep our mana online, but like, even if we get Step here, we don't have access to Endurance next turn unless we... Yeah, we don't. So maybe Plateau is actually one of the stronger cards because you can draw into... Yeah, I'm actually getting rid of the Depths here. Keep our mana online. Because I really want the red mana in case we draw into a... Blue. Pyroclasm. Pyroclasm, Pyroblast, sorry. Hey Jay, welcome. Hope you're doing well. They don't draw a card there either, which is quite nice. Look at that, perfect. So we can't do this now because of the Teferi, unfortunately. Right? Yeah, that's a static. Try to get this out of the way and then just hit the Teferi. There is a world there where they just block with the Hull Breacher and then we kind of have... We still have this... Yeah, just like getting the Teferi offline is pretty nice. They can't find a land off Narset here either, which is pretty big for us. Ugh. Okay, I get it. I get it. Okay. Well, that gives us a second green, which is nice. But tough. Shark Typhoon. Okay. Ooh. They make a shark now. Interesting. Means if they try to attack with it, we get to endurance it, which is cool. There is a world where we should like endurance when they're tapped out to play around Snapcaster Mage, which we know about because they exiled one to Force of Will, but... Yeah, keeping it back is also... makes a lot of sense. Okay. That's pretty cool. I'm going to see if we can Green Suns first, because if I can get Safekeeper down, that's kind of cool. Wow, okay. I think Not of This Worlds are really nice for that deck. And like, seeing that Tom built it, it would take a lot for me to go away from what he's built. Especially when he's had another shark. A lot more... a lot more trophies with the list. So I would definitely look at what he does with the deck and go from there. Stifle's also cool because it's just one of those cards that can just like win games. Whether it's like a turn 1 fetch or like Storming Off or Thassa's Oracle. I still think there's a lot for a lot of room for Stifle in the metagame. And there it is. Okay. Tough one. Kangaroo basic up planes. I do have one, which is nice. Okay. So now I need Force of Vigor and green card. That's a green card. Sadly, not much I can do here. Awkwardly, I also have to force in my turn. Okay. I believe we only brought in the one force. Yeah, sadly there's a moon. I don't think we have a great way to win this game, so I am just going to concede. I'm not that fun of a matchup either, so I'd rather have some fun. Yeah, definitely a tough one. And there's a good case of like, you bring in removal for ways that they shut down Sylvan Library in Narset and Hullbreacher, but their Sylvan Library was turn 2 and did nothing for 8 turns, which is tough. Sometimes you have the removal and you can just try to like draw 8 straight away, or pay 8, but most of the time you're gonna get pretty stuck. With most decks now running up to 4 Narsets, and I'm not sure how many Hull Breaches they play, but I'm assuming it's around 3 or 4 as well. Which is tough because then it's like, it's such a passive thing as well. They can just leave then their prismatic endings for things like creatures, which is tough. Don't have to care about the Sylvan Library. Which is not a legacy format that I like. I do like it when opponents actually have to like force, say, a library or something. Yeah, I feel your stress. Sylvan Library's in a really tough spot. This hand's pretty cool. Pretty happy to keep this. Question is, do I even want to show the mocks? I don't think I do. Any cool tech? Not really. Like, I'm gonna say that like Tower the Magistrate is pretty normal now. Like Outland Liberator instead of you know it. You know it. Ooh, Knight. That's pretty strong. Knight of Autumn. Tab is pretty cool. I like Tab. But Glacial Chasm is also pretty sweet. Especially because you can control it. But I do like that Tab gives you a bit more outs to some other things. Snow-Covered Swamp, Verdant Catacombs. If I thought about double Wastelanding as well, I could have played Wasteland last turn to then play Ramanap and double Waste. Savannah, Mox, Wasteland, Knight, untap. Oh, Grief. Pitching Shallow Grave. Ah, this could be like a Reanimator deck. Okay. It could be Pox. It could also just be Mono Black Reanimator. Especially seeing they're playing Shallow Grave. I'm going to say this is Mono Black Reanimator. Could be Tin Fins. Collective Brutality, put Grizzlebrain into the bin. They have the pedal. Yikes. Tough. At least you have Caracas. Close game. I mean, yeah, Wastelanding to play last turn would have also meant we could draw into Caracas if we had another turn, and then attack for lethal. I think we just pass back here, right? In case they have some sort of way to attack with haste. Because Shallow Grave gives haste, right? Yeah. Yeah, bounce beginning of combat. Caracas. Grief. Fetch. Hardcast Grief. Okay. That's fine. Sajiri Step would be cool. Prismatic Ending. Ooh. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, green, white, red, black. skill. Endurance. Deafening silence. Libraries way too slow. I'm not sure if they play like Animate Dead. I'm going to assume not. Safekeeper can come out. Ramanap's probably a lot too. I think that's just it. Like just those. That's probably good enough. Until I see something to do with Force of Vigor, I think we'll just stick with the Endurances and the Deafening Silences. Why 61? I think the deck has enough tutors to play around with 60 or 61, and I wanted to have the extra prismatic ending in the main deck. And I didn't really want to cut a card, so I decided to go with 61. I didn't do like any sort of math or apply any real reasoning, but I think that with like 4 Crop, 4 Reclaimer, 4 Knight, 4 Green Suns, a lot of the deck you can find yourself. So I don't think you're going to be impacted too much by having the extra card in the main deck. Hey Shade, welcome. This is a really nice hand. Especially with an extra Knight to pitch to Endurance. Do you ever get wrecked by Spyglass? Thankfully not too many decks right now play Spyglass, which is pretty cool. Okay. They really want to hit another Grief here, or some sort of discard spell to take this crop rotation. Or go off, potentially, with Children of Coilus. There it is. Tough. Yeah, nice FP. None of the Reliquary is a woman. And one of the strongest in Legacy. Thalia is definitely up there. Monastery Mentor, I believe, is a man. But there's definitely a lot of females making their way into Legacy. Strong. Elspeth, very nice. There's also the new like 4-drop Planeswalker that sees some amount of play that allows you to like flash it in and then get like a 2/2 with Vigilance. Or destroy a tapped creature, which is pretty cool. First Strike. First Strike is also something. I do just want to see a little bit more from this deck, but with them already being able to attack, it's looking a little bit rough. Okay. This game is very much over, but there is a world where we get to see something that I haven't seen yet. Take Knight. Hmm. So now it's going to be Caracas and something else, like a maze. So they're going to discard. Tough. Seeing the animate deads makes me want to have the forces. I don't mind cutting down on probably prismatic endings, to be fair. Might just keep one for said animate dead. But the nice thing about Force of Vigor is that you can force the animate dead before the creature even comes into play, so that at no point do they get to like draw 7 off a targeted Grizzlebrand, which is pretty cool. But yeah, Deafening Silence is pretty key in this matchup, especially on the play. That's the card that I really want to see in play. Charlie's Angels Depths, nice. Oh, what's the new movie? The 345? The 3... I forget the name. Liberator not the greatest here either, but it is an onboard threat that could also take out an animate dead, which is kind of cool. Pretty awkward hand here. Our green source has Summoning Sickness. It has Endurance and Force as free spells. Pretty happy to mulligan this. Ugh. No. Does have Maze, which makes this pretty nice. But if they go for Archon, then we're screwed. But I don't like going to 4. Bottom Mox, probably bottom Wasteland. But Mox is currently our green source. But do we really need a green source early on? Archon's really nice in Legacy Reanimator. It's a very swift clock and quite hard to deal with for the decks that rely on Caracas. I mean, there is a world as well where we should be leading on Maze to play around a Shallow Grave turn 1, but it also gives them more information about how to actually go about what they want to put into play. Is this me? Am I? Alright, apologies. A little bit of a connection issue there. Okay. Should be back shortly. Sadly, that is Australian internet for you at the best of times. Alright. Pretty nice to get a turn here. Being able to land a Deafening Silence off the top would be pretty cool. Alright. No. I'm happy to go for Maze here. And then we still have... it's tough though. There's some real options here. Because we can play Maze, but then unless we draw into Yavimaya, we can't cast Endurance next turn, hard cast. If we play Forest, we can then draw into another green source to cast Endurance, hard cast. If we play Maze, it plays around Shallow Grave attack. We also have endurance in some way to play around Shallow Grave. This is actually pretty tough. Like, what are the chances of them being able to play around the endurance and also get something to play with Shallow Grave? It definitely means they have to have Dark Ritual at some point. I'm not too sure. I don't think it's the plateau. We can rule out the plateau. I feel like this is End Step and Tomb, which we have the endurance for, so I think it might just be the forest. If we can endurance without having to pitch the knight, I'll be very happy. But my opponent kept 7, so I'm going to assume that is not happening, unfortunately. Okay, that hits nothing, which is nice. Wow. Oh, so good. I think knight is best here, though. This is actually a tough one. So if we play a Deafening Silence, that keeps them from putting a creature in the bin and also reanimating it. Unless they grief. They could grief us and then reanimate it, and that's their one non-creature spell for turn, but grief I don't really care about. Getting knight into play is pretty relevant. Make or break the game here? Yeah, it definitely feels like that sort of spot. Which is pretty interesting. Like, if I play the Deafening Silence, I don't need to hold up the endurance because, like, they're not getting 2 spells into play, or they're not getting a creature back into play next turn. I think it's Deafening Silence. The thing about Knight is as well, is that Knight is 3 mana, untap, and then we have mana for both Deafening Silence and Endurance up thanks to the Knight. I think I'm getting Knight into play. Yeah. I like that I'm getting a little bit ahead here on my plan and also putting something into play that's going to be disruptive. But it's tough because now we don't have a green card for the endurance. Bayou. Especially if they go for Archon here. Archon plays around, yeah, and it gets rid of the knight. Yeah. I think the silence here is just dead, sadly. We do have swords. Crop. I believe this deck only plays one of each basic. Naya challenge 1. Yeah. I feel like we just go for a combo piece here. Yeah. And I think it's going to be... Thespian stage, because it taps for mana. And we also have... But it's tough because the Archon, like, whatever creature we draw, we're losing it to the Archon. Interesting they even care about this, but I guess they're just trying to get in that 6 damage, not just the 3. Yeah, so we have a 3 and 3 split, but at least stage taps for mana. Which means I can make double green in my upkeep to then have endurance up if needed. If we draw into one. But yeah, deafening silence. Tough. I think that was just an oversight by me for not playing the silence. Even knowing what happened, that's exactly what I should be playing around, is something in the bin, reanimate. Which Knight doesn't do. Knight actually opens me up to it more because now I have no green card for the endurance. Like, I could have got rid of the flagstones and then copied Maze with stage, which is interesting. I think maybe that's even the better play than what I just did there. We're done here. We're done here. Nice. Alright. Tough. We learn. We learn. I was not expecting that card. Ooh, that's very cool. I just hit my stream for 1,000 hours, which is pretty cool. So thank you guys for watching. Too kind. Hey MTGO, I know I do have Bant League number 2 going up. I'll be playing it tonight, which is cool. And then hopefully get up on Monday night, which is pretty cool. What was the red card that we're reanimating? It was a creature card that I think when it came into play, it had haste, and also when it attacked, your opponent has to, like, you destroy 2 of your opponent's lands. Which is pretty strong. On the play, which is nice. It is actually a pretty nice hand. It's a turn 1 Dryad Arbor. Elvish Reclaimer. Pitching a Dark Depths. Flagstones, Mogs, Pitch Dark Depths, Green Suns 4, Reclaimer. Alright, opponent on 6. Flagstones, Mox, Pitch Depths, Green Suns, Reclaimer. Nice. Yeah, that was a cool build. Never seen anything like that. Didgeridoo. Okay. I get it. I get it. I do want to deal with this though, which is tough because both of these lands come into play with like no mana. I can't even like trade flagstones for Yavimaya, because then I don't have the white for prismatic ending. I'm not too sure what the name of the it was a helix of some kind. Tectonic helix. Helion, sorry. There you go. I think we take this out first. I'm going to play the step here because it means that it untaps for mana next turn. Which means I could play the knight if I wanted to. There's also a huge upside of playing the Dark Depths. Because then we can just naturally draw into stage. Kind of like keeping the step for now. Because next turn I'm probably just using Reclaimer anyway on the flagstones and not casting the knight. But you never know. Yeah. Okay. Okay. It's just gonna be Depths Pass here. Is it? I'm assuming this is like a show and tell deck, so I mean, getting the knight down would be really nice here. But if I have an attack, I should have done it obviously main phase 1 to see if I could attack or not with Reclaimer, but maybe getting down the knight here is just better, especially seeing we're not comboing off this turn anyway. 1, 2. The only card I'm thinking about is like Teferi, Bounce, Reclaimer, but then we have double a knight as well. I think it is just better to play the knight, which means we miss out on the damage, which is pretty tough, but... yeah, poor sequencing. I believe this is a list that Brian was playing. Koval. See if I can find it. Ancient Tomb. Okay. Thankfully no show and tell. Okay. Pretty happy to play the library out here and then pass with 2 mana up with Knight for Thespian Stage. Also if they like attack with an Emrakul, it just gives us one more thing to sack. Could have also again attacked with the Reclaimer, but here we are. I don't think I'm in a world where I have to like wasteland my opponent. I'm happy just to keep Dark Depths open. This is fine. Okay. Hey, Froze.
Just picking up the dog.
Pro blue. Nice. This is going to be an interesting one. I do want these. I think I want the oof for didgeridoo. I probably want the forces. I probably want the blasts, to be fair. Probably don't need the bog. Endurance can most likely come out. Libraries seem fine. See if I can get a deck list. All right, I'm going to assume it's this deck list. Nice. Yeah, choke doesn't seem too bad either. I might just take out the Moxen. Slow it down a little bit. I'm 12 to this current 1.5. Go down on the library. Knight's still pretty good. Step's still good. May's still okay. These even needed? I don't think Ramanap's needed. I think that's overkill. Could just be a crop. Looks like they're on Brazen Borrower in the side, so I'm going to keep the safe keeper and just go with this. Yeah, I think Blast is mainly for Brazen Borrower. This is a double crop hand, which is kind of cool. With swords, I don't mind this. It does have turn on acceleration. Saga. Okay. Just stand still? Oh no, good, okay. That would be brutal. Yeah, okay. I don't mind taking them off the Saga, but if they have like an Ancient Tomb, that's pretty rough. But I think that's fine. I think Saga by itself is just such a game-winning spell that I'm happy to try to pip them a little bit here. Obviously, like turboing here towards a Collector Oof would be really nice, but we don't have that pleasure. Okay. Now we just hold up Sword and Pyroblast off a Plateau, but then we don't have green. I don't think right now there's a better target. Like, the only other targets are really Force, and don't really care about any of these getting forced. Tega. Hopefully they're trying to hit mana here. Nice. Okay. So now we have some interesting plays. They don't have a land in hand, but if they draw a land off the top, they can didgeridoo. So we can take them off that by cropping away for another wasteland, or we can play Library this turn, and then try to Green Suns next turn for Collect Oof, which turns off both Didgeridoo and Chrome Mox, which is pretty cool. I think that might be the better play. And at least if they do find a land, then the Sylvan Library can draw us into hopefully a white source that isn't doesn't come in tapped. Here we go. Yes. Oof. Another step. Sadly here we can't, but we can pay for all of these. Play a step. Crop away forest. Force. Definitely hit that. Go and get wasteland. And then next turn we can Green Suns, seeing that we've shuffled for Oof to turn off their 2 artifacts in play. Another Green Suns isn't what I want. Oh no, we don't hit one. Classic. Just gonna get Dried Arbor here and hold up Swords to Plowshares. Opponent saying, aren't you curious what the Didgeridoo summons? They have 3 cards in hand. Oh, they didn't draw a land. Wow. Can we find another Pyroblast? That would be epic. Oh, ending's pretty good as well, just to back up. I love this sort of match where it's very prison-y. Very Maverick-esque. We're just really putting pressure on their resources. I gotta cool my brow. This was brutal. Classic. Alright, well we can finish 2-2, which is respectful. But obviously I think the deck has a lot more power than what I'm currently giving it. Some questionable choices by me today, which really comes down to just a bit of rust. But I hope you guys have enjoyed it. It's been pretty fun playing. I know Dreadnought33 also streams it. Mapsum at times streams it, which is cool. But also just, it drains you. Magic in general, of course. But even just a 5-leaguer on MTGO is pretty brutal. Yeah, I think being able to blast some of their cantrips was really nice. Didgeridoo Depths win? Nice. Oh, that's actually our first on the draw, so this will be pretty interesting. I think Didgeridoo's on the reserve list. Yorion. Sadly, this hand is just a little bit awkward with mana, so happy to mulligan. This hand's actually pretty good. I don't mind Turn on Library here if I can. I don't mind dropping the Maze and keeping the Mox. It also means we can do like Turn on Reclaimer and Swords if they go like Turn on Mum, if this is going to be a Death and Taxes deck. And the Maze I can find later on. Plains. Nice. We could call it the land from down under. Terrible. Terrible. Savannah? Mox. Pitch Step. Library. Nice. Even if they have Spirit next turn, we have Swords for it in upkeep. And Skyclave Apparition is 2 turns away, so we definitely get to pay. And even if the turn 2 here is just Stoneforge Mystic, we don't really care, which is cool. So Lion Sash is pretty much just a Scavenging Ooze that can cover the... Wow, okay, well I'm pretty happy just to pay for all of these, to be fair. And I'm just gonna pass. Like, do I care about them eating this step or not? I don't think I do at this point. I think there's better targets. Okay. Pretty happy to just Swords here before I take the attack because of the library in play. They're also down to 3 cards, so if we can just draw a land here, I can play the Knight and also hold up Swords to Plowshares, which is really nice. Depths is pretty awesome. Put on top, put on top. I could also pay here to dig a little bit. But I think right now there's probably better cards to dig for. Also tapping like this so I can hold the Mox up so they can't like wasteland me in main phase 1. We then float, they go to main phase 2, they play a creature, we don't actually have mana to Swords in their turn. Wow, nothing. I didn't expect that. Not even putting a Yorion into hand, which is interesting. I'm just going to hold up the Knight here as the shuffle, so I'm going to take the Wasteland and just pass. Maybe they have Timeless Dragon Cycle. Could could also shuffle with Nurturing Upkeep. I just wanted to see what the last few cards were. There's also a world where I just want to like hold this up until their end step so that I can play around some sort of removal spell, like even a Solitude here. Okay, so they must have Solitude. Because we go to combat. I'm going to take them off this Caracas. The question is, do I want to go for it or not? Like, I could just play it slow. And then go for a Sujiri step line. I don't mind that. Crop's pretty sweet, and Caracas is actually really good. This allows me to attack in with the Knight and then hold up the combo. I guess there's a world where I want to play around Wasteland and also Solitude, which allows me, which I can do with the Knight being open. Yeah, okay. Still in a great position here. Interesting. Nice, Bog's pretty perfect. Just a land that I don't care about that I can still sack to the Knight. So I could attack with both creatures here and then just have the Crop open for protection. That doesn't play around. We know about Yorion, so they have two other cards. And I assume if they have a Solitude, they're just going to try to hardcast it here. Which leaves their hand with Yorion Unknown. And if they have another Solitude, that isn't too bad. We just gain a bunch of life anyway. And have Library in play, which is cool. So I actually like attacking with both here. I'm just using Crop to give protection. We can also Swords the Solitude. They go to 25. And then the Knight finishes them off. So Solitude comes in. How do I want to do this? Swords this. Crop away the Bog. Sujiri step. This. Pro white. Nice. Nice. Very cool. Oof. Tab. Oh, sorry, Tower. I'm not sure about Tab. I think because of how many basics they play that it's not really where I want to be. Moxen can come out. Bajuka Bog can come out. I don't mind the forces. I think that's going to be it. I think that like there is a world where Tab's pretty cool. They try to go wide on like early mana that is a little bit disruptible by a Wasteland. It also just slows them down, but I don't mind trying it out. Also up a game, which is cool. Hey Momo, thanks for the follow. Hope you're doing well. Maze is sweet, Step's pretty sweet, Wasteland is cool. Reclaimers, Sylvan Safekeeper's sweet, Knight's pretty good. I think I'm just gonna stick with this and see where it lands. Interesting hand. No early removal is pretty tough. Endurance is a good body, so I usually keep definitely one in, but I don't think it's better than Knight. I think Knight's just a little bit more impactful. But if a 3/4 with reach is pretty fantastic, especially against things like Flicker Wisp. It's also quite nice if your opponent's bringing in like Rest in Peace, which makes Knight a pretty bad threat. Same with Reclaimer, but a lot of these D&T lists are just on the leyline builds. I kind of like mulling this hand. It just doesn't really do enough. If it had like, if Step was a Flagstones, I reckon I would keep this. But I do want to have like, a Prismatic Ending would be perfect. That is Prismatic Ending, but the mana's a little bit weird. But we do have a turn 1 Accelerant if we really want it, and also Crop, so I'm going to keep this and bottom the Liberator as a Green Sun's target. Okay. A little bit awkward here. I think I just want to Yav into Dryad Arbor to get 2 green sources on the field. It is very tough if they have like Plains, Swords, Wasteland us. I could also play Yav Hold Up Crop, but I don't think that's where I want to be. Maybe that is the play. Maybe it's taking it just 1 turn slower and going Yav Pass. And then we have like Dark Depths to sack. It also taps for mana with the Yav in play, which is cool. I kind of like building out my mana though. It's definitely very risky, but we're also up a game, so can risk it a little bit more in the game too. No white mana. Interesting. The Saga probably also means they want to keep a hold of the Wasteland here. Ooh. We do have the option next turn to go for Collector Oof as well, which is pretty strong. Especially seeing their current mana base. Stage. Okay. Is it really greedy to go for a Sylvan Safekeeper here, and then next turn we can stage? I don't mind that. No Mother of Runes is pretty big as well. Liberator's pretty sweet. That's fine. The question is, do I want to hit the vial now? I actually don't mind that. A vial on 3 is just so good, especially when they only have, like, they're losing this Saga this turn as well. They're on 2 cards. They didn't even have a 2-drop to put in, which is pretty nice. Or I guess they could still have one and keep it for the other vial. They probably get Needle here. I could see, like, yeah, I could see Shadow Spear, but Tower's pretty good there. Stoneforge. Cauldron, that's fine. Tower, of course, is really good against Cauldron because we can just remove the germ. I like playing the Reclaimer here. And then we hold up Crop and also the combo and also Tower. There is a world where I get rid of this vial though. I don't mind that. Yeah, Vial on 3 is just so good that I think I'm willing to part with one of these. Probably just Dark Depths. I don't think that's how I'm going to be winning the game. I can also get a fetch land here, which turns the Reclaimer into a 3/4, which is pretty sweet. Solitude. Okay. That's more than fine. It does mean they can start clocking us, but yeah, it's fine. Yeah, pitching Skyclave is huge. I mean, we just took out that that Vial on 3, so pretty happy about that. Maze is pretty nice here. Really keeps that pressure off. We can also Thespian. Oh, we can't Thespian stage it, but it does keep the Spirit in line. I have 1 card left. 2 cards now. I will play this. No real need to swords just yet. Yorion to hand, sure. Ooh, that's pretty good. Okay. Why can't stage copy Maze? Currently because Needle is on the Thespian stage. But otherwise, a fine play. I think here we're just going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and force these two. Could have tapped the stage to be fair and held up swords. Yeah, and this is probably a reason to hold up the swords here. Just a pretty bad case of me tapping incorrectly. I just thought for some reason that I could keep up the stage with mana, but obviously not. Okay. Now this is interesting. I actually don't mind copying that with our stage, I think. And then taking out both line slash sash, sorry. Okay. This is how I want to attack. We don't have anything to search for, no. The question is, do I want to do anything here with the swords? Like take out the lion sash? I don't mind that. Because my targets are most likely going to be with the Force of Vigor, the Urza Saga, and the Construct. And I want the knight to be at least a 3/3. But yeah, I think the big mistake here was allowing them to flicker with the Stoneforge Mystic, just from a value perspective. Okay. Do I want the library? 1, 2, and then I hold up 4. I could also keep the library for the force. I think I want the Saga token. Yeah. I want to try to get 2 2/2s with this Urza Saga. Oh, they get a vial. Okay. Oh, pretty happy to hit this with the trigger on the stack. Ah, maybe not. 1, 2, 3 mana, make a dude, and then maze up. Yeah, tough. Maybe I should have played the library because I think I have 2 mana floating anyway at the end of all of this. Could just pitch the library. Yeah, maybe that is the play. Hit these 2, pitch library. No great blocks yet with the Saga. Alright. 1 sec. Yeah, I think here it's just make a Saga, untap, make a Saga, and copy the Maze of It. Oof. Yeah, I think it all came back to that that not having the white mana up with Swords Plushes. Tough. But at least we now have a Maze of Ith, which can create a construct. Yeah, it's true. I've only seen 1 Wasteland out of them, which you would expect more. But opponent obviously has a few things they can do here. Maybe just cast the Timeless Dragon. Okay. Nice. Interesting. No attacks, not even with the Wisp. Knight's pretty strong. I think here it's better just to pass. 1, 2, because we're going to have Maze and Maze open. I guess I could play the Knight. Something like this. Yeah, because the mana's not really doing anything otherwise, especially if we're double mazing anyway. This could put me in a position where we can start actually getting something done. At least the needle's done, so they don't have like a clean answer to the maze. Swords on knight. Okay. I think... Yeah. Is there a world where I just take this and make a dude? I don't think so. But the longer this game goes, the better for them, for sure. There's a Dryad Arbor. Okay, Qatar. They can now just Yorion as well, which is pretty good. Okay. Sure. Can kill the Stoneforge here. We can... Oh, we don't have the Dryad Arbor anymore. Classic. Alright. Tough. I don't mind the tab. Especially in game 3. And because we're going a little bit harder on the Aether Vials. I could see like a Knight and a Depths, or just keeping the Knight and dropping a Depths. I also don't mind a Mox because of like copying Urza Saga being a real deal. That could see like a library coming out. It might just be the Knight. Although destroying threats is good. That, yeah. Nah. Yeah. No. Yeah. I just love the like the chance of having a turn 1 Mox is really nice. So if you put one on the deck, you're probably gonna see it, right? That's how it works. This is a fine start. Opponent kept 7. Sure. Wasteland's probably the card I don't want to see here because they can play Wasteland and then play Kaldra. Caracas I don't really care about, which is nice. Interesting. Didn't expect this. I don't mind getting Tower now. Seeing if we get to untap or not. Like the Solitude here isn't the worst because we have the Tabernacle for these two. So I'd actually love to see a Solitude here. Nice. And actually pitches Recruiter as well, which is a pretty big win for us. Where is Mirror Gallery? Nice. Tab also just takes a lot of time as well, so this is pretty tough. They're going to lose the Recruiter, which is interesting. Makes me think they don't have like Flicker Wisp in hand, or they're not going to try to go for that line. They keep the Stoneforge though. Okay. Maybe they have Wasteland for Tower, but we have Stage for Tower. Pretty happy just to copy planes here. Nice, play Dark Depths, pass back. They do have the Caracas, so we can't go off, but I do want to get those pieces into play in case we can draw into like a crop rotation and crop straight for Wasteland. Catch them off guard at instant speed. Another Solitude. We can, and we probably should here. Oh, no, yeah, remove. Just remove. All good. We're just removing. That's all good. Swords. Cool. They keep the Recruiter around. Interesting. Spirit's okay. Double Spirit's pretty good. That is Dried Arbor, which is pretty nice. The question is, do I want to copy it here? I don't think I do. I'm also happy to keep the Swords for Timeless Dragon. But this is 4 to cast. I'm not going to tap off the Crackers here, so... Oh, that's pretty interesting. That is something I am more than happy to copy. Oh, Green Suns? Oh, Green Suns for Safekeeper here is really nice. Nice. I guess they can Saga into Pithing Needle on Safekeeper, which is pretty rough, but we'll see how that unfolds when it comes time. They're going to cast Solitude. Target Safekeeper. Well, this is a free one, because we just get to use the Flagstones here. What's their out now? Swords their own dude? Can they? Yeah, they have to Swords their own dude, because Solitude can't target your own creatures. Oh no, exile up to one other target creature. Okay. Nice, okay. Well, you could see that the power of Sylvan Safekeeper, especially once the game goes grindy. And kind of nice to finish 3-2 as well, so. We also have a chest to open, which is pretty cool. Oh, and some online boosters? Hell yes! Planes? Cool. Please don't be all basics. Island? Okay. Is it all basics? Oh, it's not even like the same type. Alright. I do like keeping my treasure chests as quantities of 5. So, open 1. Ah, got a Liliana, which is cool. I don't think it's playable, but pretty sweet. That's cool. Deck was sweet. Obviously some like key mistakes in some core matchups definitely hurt us, but with time that's only going to be something we can build on. The big one there was the turn against Black Red Reanimated, casting the Knight of the Reliquary instead of playing the Deafening Silence, and also just holding up Endurance and a green card in Knight. But that is life. This is sweet. A huge thank you to you guys for coming and watching. Really nice to be back and playing some Legacy. If you guys haven't subscribed to my YouTube, you can find all this content there and more. Currently doing a Bant Depths challenge where Maverick Joe has offered me $300 if I can trophy with Bant Maverick in 5 attempts, which is pretty cool. The first attempt is already on YouTube. There might be another attempt coming. You never know. I will definitely do all 5, even if I trophy an earlier one. So yeah, if you do like this content, definitely consider going to YouTube and subscribing. But until then, I'm going to say $300 dues, which is probably more fair, seeing the current exchange rate. I think the Legacy Pit is still streaming, if I am correct. Nice. So I'm going to send you guys over there. But a huge thank you once again. I do need to have some lunch and some other stuff, so... Matt, I'll speak to you soon about playing some Maverick. But until then, enjoy, and I'll see you guys next time. Cheers.